Alrighty, good evening, everybody. Welcome to a very special edition of a Sunday night Big Footy Tiger Cast, a little bit outside of our normal time zone of Monday, 8:30. But we felt the need to do some type of little bit of a special just in light of the news that come up in, well, I suppose the last 3 or 4 days, specifically from the Ox in relation to Dustin Martin and his rock-solid news about him going to Gold Coast for 2 years. Then a few more other media bits and pieces followed as well, trying to back him up. I suppose, as we all know, the Dusty talk's been something that we've dealt with for the last 7 or 8 years. Sam, one of the most fascinating bits of footage I've seen over the last 3 or 4 days was there was a video of Sam McClure dissecting what the Ox said and really backing away from saying anything about Dusty and like, oh, no one could ever say that. It's like, hang on, mate, you've been saying for 7 years that he's been going to the Gold Coast Suns and now you want to backpedal. So he went a little bit soft there on McClure, but his time will come as well. We've got receipts for him too. Don't worry about that. But Tiggs, how are you, mate? Welcome.
Yeah, g'day. Look, no, I was happy to come on. I brought the ones. It got such a good.
I know.
The last time I said, I'll do 2 things. I'll get a haircut, and I'll wear the uni again. So no, it's good. No, good to be here. Just to put out some of the bullshit, mate. You think the media were going, look, they're copping it with injuries. Now they're copping it with, they literally got, they're getting smashed on field. They're in a bad state at the moment. Let's just ease up on the rubbish. But no, they're going in deep. They
are, as they do, and as it gets them clicks. Now, I do want to point out, guys, that we're not going to be talking about the game tonight or anything like that. We've also got that for tomorrow night. So this is literally just a bit of a 10-minute, debrief of what's happening.
Come on. I'll do 2 nights.
There we go.
Yeah, I will. I'll push it through for rehab. I've got to force my brain. I don't know how long I'll last throughout the show, but put me as a maybe at this stage. I'll let you know in the Arvo. I've got physio in the morning. I'll let you know in the Arvo.
No dramas at all. Before I know I just said we won't talk about the game, and we won't. But before we get stuck into the Dusty stuff, I do just want to say, make sure you stick fat with the club, and particular Uze, guys, because I've had a bit of interaction on Twitter with some Richmond supporters today, which I love. I love differing opinions, but for those wanting to jump the gun on Uze, just please remember that this season that we've had is like no other in terms of injuries, in terms of instability within the club for various reasons that Uze couldn't control. So all I would say is let's maybe hold our horses on passing judgment on him until he's had at least 2 years with a proper list, with a proper backing behind him before we start making calls. But that's all I'll say on that part.
I reckon 36 months, honestly, Michaels. We need take this year out of it. We need to give him 2 seasons of injuries happen to every club, but just a normal level and see how he goes. But I can see where the other side's coming from, because when you look at the game, I'm just going to briefly touch on it. There's literally no coaching happening at the moment. It's go get ball and play, boys. That's that level of sophistication we've got at the moment. So they really need to fix that in the offseason, which is fixable, really fixable. So we've got the number 1 pick. Woo! And players staying at the club. We could bounce back pretty quick. I'm bullish if we play our cards right.
That was interesting because I put out a bit of a joking tweet that North Melbourne picked up 100,000 supporters in the last quarter of their game, and most got the joke. A few people thought it was a bit of a loser mentality, and I can understand that, but I'm not saying we should play to lose. I'm just saying we're not playing well enough to win, and if we're not playing well enough to win because of X, Y, and Z circumstances, then why not make the most of it and get pick one?
So to back you up, I responded to a tweet on that, and all respect to the guy. I get where he's coming from. I was a similar mindset years and years ago. That, finishing bottom, how bad is that? You're a disgrace of a club. The club on the bottom doesn't give a shit because they're getting the best kid in the land. And I sort of highlighted, look, it wasn't a bottom finish, but we got Dustin Martin at pick 3. We got Trent Cotchin at pick 2. Those 2 players alone changed the club. We got Jack Rewald today. So
we need to find our next one of those.
Yeah, when it's your turn to go on the bottom of the ladder, you've got to make sure you get those picks done right. Unless you do a Carlton or a North Melbourne, you end up staying in there and staying in the bottom before you fluke it and come out because of the weight of numbers. As North Melbourne's starting to show by weight of numbers, Hawthorn by weight of numbers. They stuffed up a few times, but now are coming out of it. And Carlton, stuffed up more than a few times, that rabble of a shit club. and now it's just slowly coming out of it. So, yeah.
All right. With that said, let's get stuck into it. So the Ox came out and claimed that Dusty, according to him, is an absolute lock to go to Gold Coast for 2 years at the end of this year. You heard it from a Richmond player, and you heard it from a Richmond official to back it up. So there's a few things that are seemingly wrong with those statements. He seemed to backpedal ever so slightly the following day when Queensland again. But let us know what you've got on it, and let's try and debunk this one.
First of all, there's no way an official or player will tell him that. There's none. Won't happen. It's impossible. I've been in the male game now, show my age now, 11 years, and I've never once heard from a player tell me something that's intrinsic about another player within the club. It just doesn't happen. If anyone tells you they heard it from the CEO, they're full of shit. Doesn't happen. Generally, a lot of mail will get through, and Tom and other journos would know I'm telling the truth by saying this. A lot of the mail comes from player managers talking to other clubs. And that's how they fish. Oh, do you reckon I heard his manager said he might be. That's how the rumours start. It doesn't start from official to official. It's very rare, I should say that. Gubby Allen with Trelaw was one of the exceptions. Yeah. That was done, but that was because we had that connection family-wise. But he's full of shit. I'll tell you, Ox, if you're happy to get upset with me, mate, I can prove my source to your source, and you prove me yours, right? Make me get on the phone with the person, and I'll let you get on the phone with a person of mine. That's happy to do that deal. And you'll see who's full of shit, because you won't pick me up on this. Look, I said at the start of the year, you either re-sign with the club or he'll retire from the club. That's it. I haven't changed on that. The media just won't stop about it, which is dreadful. I seriously think he'll stay. I think he actually might. If you remember early back, I said, no, I wouldn't be surprised if he signs for 2 years. And then it came out that 2 years is what the club was going for. So I brought my mate a beer and said, thank you for that. I said, because he told me that ages ago. And, that 2 year window came out just not long ago. I got a strong feeling, but my personal opinion, just seeing how he plays and how laborious it must be with all the shit that's going on, I wouldn't be surprised if he retired. But there's no way he'll go to Gold Coast. He's had chances to go. Let's look at the truth, actually. Let's take Ox and me out of it. North Melbourne offered him $2 and a bit million. He didn't go. He had an opportunity to go to an interstate club, which he knocked back on the arse. Money was about the same. And it was in a period where this will come out. He said no. Why the hell would he do it now when he's 33, turning 34, and he'll go to a club that's going to need him to be the face of the club? Well, tell me when Martins wanted to be the face of Richmond.
No, that's right.
What it is for the media, it adds up as a story. Oh, could you imagine if Dusty went? Yeah, because he knows Hardwick. Oh, but Daniel Rowley went over there for holidays. There must be something in it. I know Hardwick. Hardwick's not going to shut the door because Hardwick, this is exposure for Gold Coast. Right? He wants Gold Coast on the media. If it's got to ride Martin's back, he will do it. Like I said to you, that Rioli story was bullshit, was lies. So it's not going anything when you at first break. Got proven true. John Ralph was just full of shit. So, Ox hasn't heard from a player and official. I can tell you guys he's heard from another journo.
Or Big Footy.
That's what's happened. He's heard from
and realistically, as much as we love Dusty, he's not the Dusty he once was. I think that's fair to say. Time catches up with everybody. And realistically, from Gold Coast perspective, I truly don't think he actually meets their list requirements for where they're heading anyway. I actually think it would maybe be taking another kid's spot away. They've got a pretty good young list. I actually think it would be a detrimental move for them, even if it was legitimate. I just don't see why he would be a fit there, to be totally honest. But
now,
I can't see. Yeah, I agree. I can't see him going anywhere, and you haven't wavered from it. And that's why I text you to say, are you prepared to come out and chat about it? Because you have not been wrong about Dusty in the 8 years we've been doing this, not once.
Yeah. So I appreciate you for putting it on the record. Now, this one I know I'm right. Like, this is a thing, guys. If I'm wrong, I'll own it. It just means the mail that I got, it's not because he lied to me. It's just he read the leaves, whatever mojo they do. And this time, like Hartlett, when I went with Josh Shackey, And I got called a loon because it was like 8 months early, right? It didn't even break in the media. I said, no, Richmond's asking for him. But Shaki ended up going to Western Bulldogs and Richmond went cool on him because obviously I went so early, his form had changed. That happens, and I'll own that. But from everything I've heard and the sources I get it from, I trust it implicitly. And I know if they tell me the name, it's not wrong. So, yeah, they would be the first to tell me because they know I love Dusty. They know I love the club like no other. They would tell me, Mick, you're screwed. He's going. And I would tell you guys, you know, there's nothing for me to gain here. So, you know, Baker. Just quickly, he's more likely to stay than than to go. I know everyone else is starting to hop on. It was funny. Just go back when I said he was going to stay. The media narrative, I want to say it's all me, but it's really weird timing. It all went from he's gone, till the media says, yeah, look, he might be going. It's likely he'll come, but he could be likely to stay at Richmond. So it's sort of flipped. I haven't changed from that. I think the kid's torn. I think but this is what I heard, which gives me a lot of confidence. Broad knocked WA back. Riol, we've got kids that are from WA. I reckon they got a little thing together. No. Let's stick together. No, I don't agree with you, regional. From what I've heard, mate, till I hear otherwise, till I hear my mate tells me that Mick is gone, I'm going to stick with them. I asked him as recently as yesterday. Bake's gone. Just tell me. I'm doing the show. He goes, no. I still think he's staying. I said, all right. I'm riding this horse down to Never Land. So, yeah, take it for what you will. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But it is what it is. But I believe I'm hearing it.
Bolton, any other news on Bolton?
Yeah, no, Bolton's staying at the club. He's not going to be traded. I don't. You never say never.
Is it fair to say it would take a crazy good offer for us to say?
My mate who's in recruiting. That's all I could say about him. He said to me, Mick, he said, now that you've got the number one draft, that's actually funny enough. If you hold on to it, that changes everything. He said, because clubs will come at you with really good offers to get that number one pick, particularly this year. He said, so you might find that you want to split your first to, not saying this is what I want, to a third and seventh round pick, but you'll get a gun player included in that. He said, so you could pick up, in reality, 2 kids and a solid gun player for that as well. He said, and you might then go, you got a star, so to keep your pick or, all that shit can happen and things can really start to spiral. You can start doing deal after deal. So I'm not saying that, but for 95% he's still at the club. And thank heavens, Bolton's is a generational talent. Once he's got the team around him, that's the thing. He needs the team around him. We don't have that at the moment.
Yeah. A lot of people in chat claiming they reckon that Baker's gone. This is going to be interesting.
I agree. I had this with North Melbourne, and people forget I went through it actually. Guys, go have a look at Bigfoot if you're on the forum. The shit I caught when North Melbourne was after Dusty, and I've said, no, he's staying, no, he's staying, no, he's staying. Particularly when the North offers, nah, Mick, you're an idiot, he's gone. I've lived it. I lived it with Lynch to Collingwood. No, he's ours. No, he's not. Blah, 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 blah. So I'm not doubting you blokes. It's just not many people have the source I have. That's why I'm not big noting myself. I know when you get me where I'm saying it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not a mate that knows someone that works at AFL. That seems to be where it all stems from. Or a mate that knows a player that knows. It's none of that shit. It's a good quality source and a good quality area of the industry that hears a lot of shit and keeps it all confidential. But with me, he's got a soft spot. So, and he knows what I do. He knows I'm on this show. So he's watching right now, actually. So,
I suppose, Ghost, I think we've said before that a lot of the contract stuff we do doesn't happen until later on for whatever reason, whether they're trying to get better in form and they try and get more money. I'm not too sure what they're doing.
Honestly, we don't ask that question, actually, that specific question, Ghost. A good call, mate. The club's got so many that are out of contract right at the moment. They're working through who they're keeping, who they're not, who they're recruiting from other clubs and who they're going to miss out on. That's all happening at the moment. At the moment, Baker's got strong interest from Fremantle, but particularly West Coast. There's no dollar-wise that they can beat our offer, right? Let's put this. So the club at the moment is going, all right, you want to hold off. We've got an X amount of window. Let us work out what money we've got for you, because we might land the number one target that I'm hanging to break, which won't happen this week, but might happen next week. So Tom and the others, make sure you watch, mate. I'll go with it. And we're going to need a bit of coin to get that to happen, right, which we have. But, big money signings generally happen just before the finals. So we've got plenty of time yet. Yeah, we've got plenty of time yet. Does that make sense? Sorry, my head injury means I can lose focus mid-convo. So I apologise for that, guys, if I do that. But, yeah, you know my point.
Yeah, no, makes sense. Makes sense. Was there any other players? Jack Graham, you're still feeling is gone?
Yeah, I thought he was gone, but I'm sort of starting to change my mind. It's weird. It's weird. Just what I heard a few things. I heard he was a lot to go because he was sick of his body breaking down, be closer to home. He got a couple of offers, like Port Adelaide were pretty keen, and he would go there for next to nothing. But I think Adam's got into his ear and said, no, you are, I really want you to be part of the future. So he might be staying. I'm not sure. But to be honest, I've been focused more on Baker. I've been focused on the two names that I want to really break. Because at the end of the day, I don't make no money from this. The payment I get is the head wobble. When I'm right. So I want to break it. I want to break it early. No. It's killing me that I can't. Yeah.
Now, Jason, I know you're pretty adamant that Baker's not going to be at our club next year, but just because the way we do contracts at Richmond doesn't make sense to you doesn't mean it doesn't make sense to the club. Yeah. Just because Logan McDonald and Stengel have signed doesn't mean that we would do things the same. Yeah. Notoriously, a lot of our stuff is always done later in the year for whatever reason. So,
and we wouldn't give Stengel $750,000.
No.
I laughed when I heard, put on Geelong.
He just explained that, Jace, why he hasn't re-signed, because we've got almost over half of our list is out of contract. So there's a lot of shuffling and negotiating to be done by the time that rolls around. So it's all good. It's how we've always rolled. It's not unusual for us to do signings
and
later on. I think we drew a couple through earlier.
Yeah, and in fairness to the club, the majority of the three signings haven't happened yet. The odd little ones, the ones like Nag that was worked on, like would have rolled over quickly. They've gone. For the bigger ones, haven't. And Baker's going to be. But look, Baker will get a payday, regardless of his form on the weekend. I feel for the guy, but he will get a payday. But he loves the club, right? Just listen to how he speaks. He loves the club and he loves the boys, and he's not a homesick type. It's the only go listen to Baker, go articles of Baker when he talks. Hear the player.
Yeah,
right?
Jace, enough, mate. Enough, Jace. You're way off the target here. Categorically incorrect. Now, a few people have asked, the target you mentioned that you're going to drop in a couple of weeks, is that to acquire this year or is that to acquire next year? Or
good call. I believe it's this year. I believe with the number one, I believe the injuries we've had this year have not panicked the club, but I realised particularly in the forward line, we have not developed a succession plan as quickly as we thought we had. It's one reason why we re-signed Ryan for such a long period of time. We actually believe he will be next Nance replacement. We believe he's more of a ruck forward, so that's why we've committed to him, because there was interest from Essendon and a few other clubs. So we've gone balls on the line. Here you go. Here's 3 years. And part of that is we're realising with Jack Rewalt gone, with Lynch going down, what real forwards do we have? Cosy, I've been ratting with you, mate. You've stood up.
Yes.
You don't want to ask you to do. But again, I want to rob tomorrow's show. But thank you for that, mate. Keep on doing it. That's all I want to see. But he's a fourth foil. We have, it's indictment on Hardwick and the club, not just Hardwick, but the recruiters, everyone that said that they hadn't had that kid being groomed. But I know why. So, yeah. I think we're going to.
I was having that conversation on Twitter because the obvious thing we haven't done in the past 6-7 years is we haven't drafted a forward to develop and grow to take over from Rewalt.
That's
and
right.
My thought was, and I posted this, I feel like it's because we thought we had King until Dimmer went there.
That's right.
Or, is that what you read as well? Because
I was going to say I'm saving shit for the trade show, right? When we have one. But yeah, that's exactly hitting the nail on the head, right? So the thing is, there's a big mantra that our head recruiter goes through before he got replaced by the other guy from St Kilda, is you always trade for need, right? So what I've heard, I'm not going to doubt it, we're going to trade from another club a forward to allow a younger forward to in the VFL, who some of them are good quality, to have that development time that they need. So good quality, a couple of good quality kids that are good quality forwards, and they'll bridge the gap, the learning gap. So, and when I say quality, I'm not talking about quality like no disrespect to Cumberland, but not or Cozzy, better quality than that, but not A grade, but serious B grade talent. And I've got two names that I want to run with. And when I say B grade talent, I could be talking about, number one picks that recruited that haven't come on, but we think are real good quality that all think have huge potential. But or could be a good quality player that's a good soldier, but we've identified could be a really good forward. So yeah, we get either one or two of them into the club, and that's going to bridge to support Lynch and support the development underneath and who we recruit. Cadman, look, I've been on the record last year, I think it was the last trade show, that Cadman was a target of ours. Obviously that fell through. He decided to re-sign with GWS. I'm going to, because you, JD, I love people that support the show. I'll come out with, I have heard from the bloke that I get a lot of my mail from, that they believe Cadman might be a possibility this year, more likely next year. He's a watch this space. He's not, but he doesn't think anything's going to happen with it. But he said he is a watch this space.
Just that we're going to re-ask the question and
I don't not ask a lot of clubs. Yeah, a lot of clubs. But I think he's seriously loves the guys he's with. And he might, but I'll know more towards, when the finals kick off, when we do a trade show. Yeah, I'll know more. So, yeah.
Very good. All right. Well, I think, unless have you got anything else, or was that it from a trade perspective?
That was it. Look, one name, I mentioned him the last trade show, so I'll stuff it. I'll blame the brain injury if I get yelled at. LDU, I mentioned him. He's starting to come into the meeting now, starting to break through. Just pay attention to him. That's all I want to say. I'll re-clarify this as we get closer to the thing. But yeah, I mentioned his name. When was it? Fucking start of the year. And now it's starting, his name's getting mentioned that he might be leaving the club and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah. So just have a look. Thank you, Vince. I appreciate the support, mate. I'm going to try to do more shows too, because you guys have been really supportive. I'm talking really fast, and I do that because of this thing. I don't want to pause all the time, but I really appreciate the love that you guys give me. So if I can do the shows more often, I will, even if it's in shorter bursts. So that's why I couldn't say no when you asked.
No, very good. Appreciate your time tonight, Tiggs. Much appreciated. There you go. A special treat for a Sunday night, just to clarify. So Dusty not going anywhere. Yeah. He'll either sign on to keep playing or he'll retire. It literally doesn't make any sense for him to go to Gold Coast. From a Gold Coast perspective, I just can't see why they would do that to their own, players. But
even from a business perspective, who do you think he has more options to do to get the real money, which is after he retires? Here in Melbourne or in Service Paradise?
Yeah, no, exactly right.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and I think, look, Gold Coast are trajecting in the right path, and they don't need a Dusty to do that. They've got enough young talent available to take them where they need to go. So there you go. So the Ox game on. Let's see where this one lands. And for any other media outlets who are wanting to, run with the same story, receipts are being kept.
Yeah, and I'm happy you compare. You know what? You want to do it live on the show? I'm happy to compare sources. I'm happy to get on the phone. You ring all sources. I'll convince my guy to get on the phone with mine, and we'll see who's right. Also, too, can I just say, Tom, I know you watch the show, get on the show, mate. We'll treat you with respect that you do, blood.
Genuinely, it's on me to inbox him. So he has already said to one of our loyal listeners that he would be more than willing to come onto the show. So I was going to reach out, but then we went through that hacking scandal. I thought, that might not be a good time to reach out. But
Should I worry? I'm getting that your Twitter thing has been accessed by someone in Rio de Janeiro. Please change your password. But I haven't done shit. But I've had about 8 times now from X telling me to enter this code.
Maybe don't enter the code, but maybe change your password.
I thought that might be the hack. So I didn't touch it.
Maybe go in and change the password just in case. Oh dear. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Very special show. We will be back tomorrow night for the regular 8:30 show to talk about the game on the weekend and the upcoming game against the Giants. For those who asked about the big trade show, that's going to be probably closer to finals time once everything sort of happens there. So, we will do that when the time comes. But otherwise, we will see you all tomorrow night. Thank you again, Tiggs. And we'll see you tomorrow night. Go Tigers.
All the best, guys. Take care.